So I bought the cheapest sketchbook on Amazon. You can see here I've decorated the cover. What we're gonna do in today's video is we're gonna talk about this sketchbook. We're gonna talk about the quality, the value for money, some of the materials I've tested out in it. I've tested a few different material types and everything's been pretty smooth so far. We're going to talk about who this sketchbook would be perfect for. And then we're gonna leave a honest review on Amazon about the quality of this sketchbook. So stay tuned for that. Maybe this is the perfect sketchbook for you. So if you saw my last video, then you know that I had purchased the cheapest sketchbook you can buy on Amazon. I've been working with it for about a week. I decorated the cover a little bit here. You can see this is my third sketchbook so far. And this is my preferred size. So this is around the A5 size. It's like a relatively small, but this has been a fun week. I've been using it to do some sketches and doodles. We've been doing some animal studies, a little sci-fi. But we'll go over that in a second. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the material quality. This is the Labuk Blank Sketchbook. This is going to be my third sketchbook that I'm going to complete hopefully within the next month or two. It is a little bit lengthy. It will take a while because sketchbooks tend to come with a lot of paper, and having a lot of paper is good because you're going to be able to practice more. In the case of these, they are $4.75 per book, which is an excellent deal. The second cheapest sketchbook I could find on Amazon was $6.99, I believe, and it looked like it was made for children. So what we're going to be talking about is the quality of the paper, the types of materials that you can use in the sketchbook without having an issue, the feel of the paper, the weight of the paper. We'll also be talking about the value for money, the overall quality of the book itself. I have a few different materials that I keep with me when I'm sketching in my pencil bag. So we're gonna be testing like some highlighters, some charcoal pencils, some Prismacolor color pencils. I also have, what else do I keep in there? Some graphite pencils. Oh, and some micron pens. According to the listing, the Labuk sketchbook features 100 GSM paper and 120 pages of that. It claims that you can use ink and marker without having bleed through the paper. I don't have any alcohol markers or water-based markers to test. I do use highlighters a lot in my work. You can see I made this welcome page here. I use some highlighter with a colored pencil to like make it pop a little bit. And I haven't had any issues with bleeding yet. I think the paper is thick enough to handle highlighter or marker, but you can't really layer much. If you look here, I did this like little doodle of a cat, and I layered him up with like some highlighter. And then through the paper, you can't see hardly any bleed on the other side. This little guy right here has a lot of highlighter on him as well. And there is, again, pretty much zero bleed. So that's a good sign for the quality of the paper. And at $4.75 per book, you're not really gonna beat that deal. A big benefit of this book is that the covers are blank. So if you're someone who likes to like decorate your sketchbook or do a little piece on your sketchbook, the covers are blank and they're wrapped with 150 GSM craft paper. And it held up pretty good. If you look at this one, I used a Posca pen, acrylic marker, some highlighter and some colored pencil, and it came out fine. I did have a little issue here. This was like my test area with the Posca pen, and it got a little smudgy on the S there. Didn't really soak into the paper. It came out kind of fast. So that's something to be careful with on your cover. Inside of the book, I didn't really use the Posca pen very much just because the paper is like pretty thin to be putting acrylic paint on. But I'm sure you could use a white Posca pen for highlights without having an issue. The overall quality of the book, in my opinion, I have to say it's great quality. I just finished a Canson sketchbook of the same size. And honestly, I think the paper quality is a little higher in this one. It also has a little bit of a color to it. It's not completely white. It is what's called a cream white. I don't know if you'll be able to tell through the camera, but it's like very slightly off-white, like an eggshell almost. Personally, it doesn't bother me. I actually prefer the paper not to be 100% white, just because for me, when the paper is white, it kind of gives me like, I don't know, like a blank page phobia, like you're gonna make it messy. So a little bit of color on my paper is actually helpful in my art process. So you may be thinking, what does this sketchbook really do well? In my opinion, it's perfect for someone who is like on the go, someone who likes to sketch in graphite. It's great for that. The paper is very smooth. It's almost like a Bristol surface, if you've ever used Bristol smooth paper, but it's not so thick. The paper being so smooth does make layering a little bit challenging if you're gonna use colored pencil or graphite. You can still layer a little bit, but with the colored pencils, I was having a hard time achieving good color after a second layer. So be very careful when layering in the book and be intentional with the colors you choose. You won't be able to layer 4 or 5 different colors together smoothly. I had a couple of issues, especially in that like cat ocelotl doodle I did. I'll put that up on the screen now so you can see. But if you look at the ears and mainly the ears, if you look at the ears, that's where I had a big issue because I was like trying to keep everything in the same color family, like a pinkish purple. I was trying to keep everything in that color family of pink to purple. So I was like using blue and red to try to get the effect of purple in the ears, and that did not work at all. You can see like very clearly the difference in the blues and reds. This sketchbook is perfect for a beginner or an intermediate artist who needs somewhere to just practice and likes to be on the go. For me, I'm not a big fan of a bulky sketchbook of like a 9x12 or a larger size sketchbook. I really prefer this size. It's close to A5. It's a little bit smaller. The sketchbook itself is 5.5 inches by 8.3 inches. So it's a little smaller than A5, but it's a very comfortable size for me. And when I had a 9x12 sketchbook, I really just didn't feel like taking it out and drawing in it. The only time I really used it and felt like it was perfect, the 9x12, was when I was doing gesture drawing practice, just because a bigger page lets you get more gestures on one page. But most of the time I prefer drawing small, especially for little studies and thumbnails. And then if I do something bigger, I normally make digital art instead. Or I'll do a painting. And with that, you're not gonna be able to use a sketchbook for painting. You probably shouldn't be using this sketchbook for painting just because of the thinness of the paper, and it also doesn't have any tooth. It's a very smooth paper. I just prefer a cold press watercolor paper over a smooth hot press paper, and this is not really designed for that. Even in the Amazon link, it says it's for dry media. The only dry media I had a really hard time with in this book was the charcoal pencil. I did like some gesture studies of monkeys, and I did the outlines in charcoal, and I used some Prismacolor colored pencils just to give it a little more visual interest. But after opening and closing the book a few times, it's starting to smear the charcoal outlines of the monkeys, and that's not so good. That's not really what you want, because even though it's a sketchbook, you would like to preserve your work so you can maybe check your progress in the future. So I've been using this sketchbook for about a week. I've really enjoyed it so far. I've only really tested it with these materials here that I keep in my sketch bag. I got a couple materials here. So I've tested this sketchbook out with a few different things. I'm making a little mess, that's okay. So this is what I carry in my pencil bag. And I've tested the sketchbook out with a few different things. So I'll be showing you a few different things we've used. I use these colored pencils all the time in the sketchbook. These are Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. I feel like it gives you just a really nice addition to your sketchbook. It makes the sketchbook more appealing when there's color. I also did a little bit of burnishing in the sketchbook. This is a Derwent colored pencil burnisher. And this actually worked pretty good. Due to the smoothness of the paper, this was not the best technique to use. Like it just kind of flattened everything out and made it impossible to layer more. So if burnishing is the technique you like to use for blending your colored pencils, you might not want to use this sketchbook. These are some fine liners. I'm sure you've seen these before. These actually worked really great. With the smooth paper, the ink flow is really nice. These are Sakura micron pens, and these are really great. My friend was in art school in North Carolina and actually sent me these as a gift, and they've been great. I do like to use highlighters in my sketchbooks too. You can do like nice accents with these and just make your sketchbook more aesthetically pleasing. These are just really cheap highlighters I picked up at the art supply store. I like to sketch with this pencil as well. This is a General's Carbon Sketch Pencil. It's a super soft lead and it gives you really dark blacks really easily. This thing though will make the sketchbook a little bit messy. So I'll show you exactly what happened after I did my monkey study. I did that with this, and it has smudged quite a bit over the last week. If you can see at the bottom, it was the General's Carbon Sketch Pencil with the Prismacolor Poppy Red and a Prismacolor Cerulean Blue. These were like little monkey gesture studies I was doing. They came out pretty good. The biggest issue I have with this is that when I closed the book the first time, it kind of imprinted the monkeys from the other side of the page. You see there, the backwards monkey? It imprinted him onto the other page. So I really enjoyed using this book, but this is something that's gonna happen in any sketchbook if you're using carbon graphite or if you're using charcoal. Just because it's such a soft medium, it's gonna transfer over. And you can see here, the back of that monkey transferred pretty clear. The monkey like from the tree transferred clear. Honestly, I kind of like the aesthetic, but it's getting a little messy and confusing. This is my third sketchbook. I have completed 2 so far. I am relatively new to art, so it's been a little over 1 year. If you want to see the progress I made in 1 year, check out the video in the description. So I did this cover with Posca pen, highlighter, and colored pencil. I think it's kind of cool. It makes it a lot more interesting to look at than the blank that these come with. You do get a 4-pack of these for $18.99, and after tax, it comes out to about 20 bucks. That's a good deal in my opinion, because you get, what was it, 120 pages of this paper to use in each book. So you're gonna get 480 pages to draw on for 20 bucks. And I think that's a great deal, as long as the paper is good. In this case, it has been. So on the first page of the sketchbook, I always like to do a little welcome page, and this is a mixed media. So I use like some graphite pencil. This is the fine liner, the Prismacolor colored pencils for the graffiti. I did a little highlighter up here. The start date was April 2024, and hopefully I'll be done within a few months of using this sketchbook. I'm really trying to practice as much as I can. This is like a little sci-fi page. I don't know, I've been trying to blend ideas that don't work. These are like sci-fi like headgear. This is like a scouter type deal, like from Dragon Ball Z. We had like cyborg glasses and this. I was thinking to do a monkey with one of these, so I ended up making this little character. This is pretty cool. This one's very clean. I used the Sakura Micron pens to draw this out. I was really happy doing this. It was a lot of fun. It's kind of goofy, but you can see through the back here. You can't see any of those pen marks. So it's definitely good for anyone who draws in ink or colored pencil. This is great. Like this sketchbook has been great for that. So this one right here, I went really heavy with the colored pencil and the highlighter intentionally to try to get through the page. You can see there it's like a very, very deep color. And you can see on the back, there was zero bleed. There was 0 bleed there too. So this paper has held up really well for that. The promises from the company have been true for that. It is pretty bleed resistant. I'm sure if you use like Copics or any other type of alcohol marker where you try to layer a few different colors on top of each other, you're definitely gonna have bleed because those are just like very juicy markers. This is a little kitty cat sketch I did. It's Mermaid right now, and the Mermaid official site had a prompt for toe beans on the 3rd, I believe. And I'd never drawn a cat before, so that was the first cat I ever drew. This was for Mermaid as well. I also went really heavy here on the color. So this is Prismacolor colored pencil and those cheap Pelican highlighters. But if you look here, this is what I was talking about as far as blending your colors. So like this purple here was a purple colored pencil out of the box. I tried here to see if I could blend the like a blue and red together to make a purple. And it just didn't work out. But you can see I was only getting like maybe 1 layer of color and then a very light secondary layer. You can see here under the kitty cat pecs. You can see here that you can't layer your colored pencils too much. But this was supposed to be a cat ocelotl, and this was my toe beans drawing for Mermaid this year. Now we're gonna swatch out some colors. And what I wanna do is I want to show you like how strong this paper has been, because for me, the bleed when using like highlighter, there's literally no bleed. So that's been my favorite thing about this paper so far. You can really like lay down a few different things here. Like this. You're not gonna be able to see it on the other side of the paper. I thought that was like a really nice feature of this paper. You can see I'm layering the hell out of it. It's like ripping the paper a little bit. But if you go on the other side, oh, it did bleed. So we're gonna swatch out some colors here. I went like really crazy right there to try to get it to bleed through the paper, and it definitely did. Under normal use, I haven't had that issue at all. You can see here, this is highlighter, that's highlighter, and there was no bleed on this side of the paper. So that's something to be aware of. If you're someone who likes to layer up your colors with marker, this is probably not the best sketchbook for you. With the ink pens, I have had pretty good luck. If you take a look here, with the ink pens, I did these eyes here with the Sakura micron pens, and you can see that that ink did not bleed through at all onto the other side of the page. You can see a little bit, you can see the silhouette a little bit, but I would say that's like pretty much no bleed for a super cheap piece of paper. It's just thin, usually. I wanted to swatch out some, I'm gonna do some color pencil swatching here, and I'm gonna show you what I meant by the blending not being so great. So, you take your color pencil, you can see it lays on like very smooth here. We're gonna try to blend this to be a red to blue. I really enjoy using red and blue because like that RGB type of color scheme works really well. You know, like the colors will complement each other when you use that color scheme. If you use an RGB or a CMYK color scheme, you know that those colors are gonna look good together. And that is what we're going for, right? You can kind of see they don't blend together very well. You're gonna have like hard lines in the middle. Something it is good for though is if you only want to use like one color, or if you want to like do what I did here with the monkeys. Like I really like the look of this when you use like your colored pencils just to put in some shadow shapes. Your visual interest a little better in your sketches. I think it came out really nice for the monkeys. It came out good here. But anytime you go too crazy with the colored pencil, it just it doesn't look great in this sketchbook. But this sketchbook is great. Overall, I would say this sketchbook is great for artists of all levels. For a beginner or intermediate artist, looking for something to just draw in. Like, if you're gonna be using graphite, this is great. If you're gonna be doing like some flat color with a colored pencil, that's great. If you're someone who's like looking to be doing like finished pieces and curate your sketchbook to look like finished pizzas. If you're doing finished pieces in your sketchbook to like curate for YouTube or whatever, this is probably not the best sketchbook for that. It doesn't hold up well with markers or wet media. It does okay. You could do one layer of a marker and it's fine. It doesn't bleed or anything like that. But this is really ideal for someone who is looking to draw and get better at drawing and just have something that's very mobile to take with you on the go. Because of the size, it's pretty small. As you can see, it's like an A5 book. Overall, I would give this sketchbook 5 stars because all of the claims in their Amazon listing are true. It's great for graphite, it's great for colored pencil, it's great for all dry medias, and if you wanted to use a wet media, maybe do one layer of marker or highlighter and it's fine. But if you wanted to get like a few layers or really deep saturation out of an alcohol marker, this is like just not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to get different paper to work with. But overall, for $4.75 per book, I would give this 5 stars. I mean, you're gonna be able to do like over 500 drawings in this book. If you use your pages front and back, I think you can get like 800 drawings in total. Because it's a 4-pack, goes for $18.99. That's a great deal. It's been a lot of fun so far. I'm looking forward to filling it up. We're gonna leave a review on Amazon right now, a little 5-star review, help this company out, help them grow. If you're interested in buying the sketchbook, I'm gonna leave the link in the description, so you can just click on it for your convenience. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the channel, who knows, you know? In the future, maybe I have something better to show you. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.